Earlier this week, I recorded a video that went over how to do a day of timeline that you can send to your clients for them to share with friends or families or other vendors, or for you to share with other vendors, depending on how your business is like. And I cannot wait to show you how to do it. And it is going to just change your process for the day of an event if this service applies to you. I am Lauren with The Smarter Creative. I am at a hotel in Ohio for a friend's wedding, but I'm helping creative business owners work smarter in their business instead of harder. And if you are a event planner, a wedding photographer, a wedding hairstylist, if you do branding shoots that have like a day of agenda, anything like that, this video is for you. Let's go.
So the first thing we have to do is create 900 different custom fields, and we're going to do that under settings and custom mapped fields. And I want all of these for the project, just in case if you are maybe you're a brand photographer and you want to share these timelines with your clients and they have a quarterly shoot. You want to make sure all of these mapped fields are a part of the project, not the client, so that they'll always be correct for the photo shoot that you're doing with them. So what I'm going to do is we're going to make all of these a short answer, because those are our options. We can have a short answer or a date. So they're all going to be short answer. And we are going to keep this as generic as possible for you, so you'll be able to use it in many different ways, these project mapped fields. So we're going to do time 1, save, and then I'm going to do a time and a description. And I want 20 of each to go into to show you what is possible with this. So get ready for the fast forward. Whew, okay, those are done. Now we're going to go over to our forms. And we are going to create 2 different questionnaires. One is going to be where you're actually inputting and filling out, creating those project mapped fields for your project. And the second one is going to be the form that your client can share with anybody that they need to in a super easy and convenient way. It can be printed out on one piece of paper, however it's needed. That is it. And you could even share it if you have second shooters or anybody like that. I'll show you also how to share the day of timeline. So you just hit add here, and we're going to see if it lets me configure the event timeline. I'm going to make me smaller. All right. And then we'll just save as a template to start off, and then we'll edit it from here. Perfect. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with an image, and I created a graphic that is 1800 pixels wide by 700 pixels tall, and just used a Canva template to create this. And I'm pretending I am a wedding planner for this, just theory. So the first thing we're going to do is create the form that we're going to fill out all of those custom mapped fields. And so I'm going to create a 2-column container, and I'm going to start dragging in a couple short answers. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to put just placeholders in instead of the actual question of everything. And then I'm going to copy that 20 times. That's 1, 2, 3. Whew. Okay, I don't know why I chose to do this for you guys with 20 options, but that's what we're doing. So we're gonna go maps 2. That first time is time 1, maps 2. The second one is going to be description 1, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to make these required just in case they are not, like, if they only have like 3 times or something. And the beauty of this is you do not have to actually share it with your client. You can fill it out with them or on their behalf. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Let's just focus on these guys. Ooh, okay, done. And then I didn't need that last one. Okay, so this, we're just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna save and close it. And the day of timeline. So I created this exact same way with the same image in top, but now we're actually going to format it so it's pulling the responses that you just worked so hard to create and to put out. So yep, I'm going to create a text box here. And if you wanted to include any key information, so maybe it is the wedding of, and then you can do like client full name, and if you're you have like their alternate first and last name, or maybe you have the fiance field as a client, as another client custom field, however it is, but that is how we would do that, first name, last name, using all smart fields. And then maybe we even do the project start date and maybe the location name and maybe address. Okay, perfect. And then maybe we're gonna make all of that centered just for information. So now this is interesting. So we want it to be, I want this to be centered, and we're going to create a table. I want the table to be 3 columns wide and as many rows as we can get. So that's my 10 rows, and I, of course, we're at 20. So we're going to go ahead and insert below, and we're going to do that. That's 11, 12. Lovely. I want to resize these a little bit. So I'm going, the middle row is just a spacer to make this look just a little bit more clean. So I'm going to get it as small as possible. And naturally, all of these rows are going to be left aligned, but I want all of my times to be right aligned. So I highlighted them all, and then here I'm going to say align right. And I'm going to then start putting in my smart fields. So I got time 1, smart field, time 2, and then I'm going to do the same with the descriptions. All right, now all of them are in, and the last thing I'm going to do is under under the paint, I want to show / hide borders. I can change the fonts as well. So like my brand font is an Open Sans, so I could change that. You could potentially make these bold, or if there's like something like super important, you could make it bold. Although that I would say not to do that here, because this is trying to be as like basic as possible for you to make it duplicatable to your different clients, and then maybe eventually we can bold like specific ones later. Perfect. So let's close that out. Now everybody's there, and we're gonna save and close. Now I'm gonna come over to just a test project. let me give a alternate name just to make sure. Okay, so we're gonna call this one the event, configure the event timeline. I'm gonna add this. And then I'm going to add the day of timeline as well. Perfect. So like right now the day of timeline is blank because there's no information in there. So maybe what we'll even do, let me remove the event timeline to make sure that our this is old configure timeline event has just a little bit more information in it as well. So we're going to do a short answer, date, and another short answer. So we're going to do wedding date, and this maps to the project start date. This is going to be the venue, and this maps to the project location name. And then we're going to do venue address, maps to the project address line. And then we need the venue, city, state, and zip. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in a 2 columns just to clean it up a bit. Let's go address. Oof. Perfect. And we'll go back over to our project. Perfect. I'm going to add it. And then I'm going to open it. So when you open it, you actually are able to fill it out on behalf of your client. So let's say the wedding is in October, as like all weddings are. I'm going to put the venue as perfect. And now we have all the different times on things. And let's say that, and we can have as many as we want. So let's go like 8 a.m. hair and makeup begins, 1 p.m. everyone gets ready. Perfect. And then I don't have a last one, which is fine. So we're just going to send that. Okay. And at any point, this can get edited. So let's say we actually have to end earlier. So it could be 25 p.m. and at 10:30 is when the send off happens. Let me just refresh it. 10:25 and 10:30. Yeah, we just had to refresh so we could resend it, and that would update it. So if your bride and groom have access to this, maybe you can, like, this is a starting point. If anything changes, they can edit it, or however it goes. And then we can go back to the day of timeline And now let's view it because we have all the information for them. Let's refresh. And view it. Perfect. So now I have the location of this. Let me go ahead and edit it because that was double on there. I only need it on there once. I don't like how far over these the times were to the option, so I'm going to change these rows over. And let me save and preview. And now you have their full line items. If there's a gap here, I probably skipped a one of my fill in the blanks here. Everything's here. Here's like the sample client and Sally Jones. That's my name for the sample person. And then, so when you go to send it, you can email this to them. And then when they go to open it, there is a download PDF option, and it will go ahead and download it for them. And then when they open it, it is a one page of all the key information here. And you could even have a couple more pieces of information. Maybe at the bottom you have a smart field that is like the wedding planner or like the in case of emergency contact person, and you could have that information down here. And that's for wedding. And then for branding, this can all be customized. Let's say it's a branding one and you need like a checklist of everything for them to remember. Well, maybe it is in your static one a just like very generic checklist. And you can even, when you go to create your forms, let's go ahead and like start a whole nother text box. Let me be like key information or remember to bring, and then it could be whatever the options are. And you have two things to do. You can either go here and actually be an unordered list, or you can create another table here, and we're gonna go like way down low there. That's fine. But we can insert an image. We can even do it by URL. A GIF, or not a GIF, a emoji. And again, I want to make sure these are all right justified. So if you knew that there was like things that they would need to remember to bring, whatever is their responsibility. And I want to turn that off. And you can always, insert another column just to give a little bit of spacing between those things. But I really feel like tables are an unused thing with Dubsado. You can input a image and it put it right in the table here. And you can resize it as well. I'm all about the shoes apparently, but yeah, you could do that. So this is an emoji, and then this is an image. The image you'll have more control over than the emoji, because the emojis can show up different on different platforms. If it's an Android or the computer just reads it differently. And then the image, you just, have more control over. So that is all of that. And my template, I'm going to take off the location name, since the job address actually includes the name of the venue on it. And then we'll like change these guys over too, since our columns were so off. Perfect. That would be like ready for the future, everything. And then again, if you wanted to have key information, if you're doing like a shoot at your own venue, you could just type in like the venue names, and then like maybe it's like access codes or something, like key things to know. That might, if you start to add too much information, it might push it to a second page to print, but still, like, it's such a simpler way to share that information, even if it goes to 2 pages long, to have it here, all in one chunk of information. It's so nice. And then you have the total option on the event timeline if you want this to be something that the client fills out or that you fill out on their behalf. That's totally up to you. So yeah, I'm guessing that this is 19. Yep, so I skipped description 18, which is why there's that gap. So this truly should be 18. And I would want to change this on my main thing. And then this one would be 19, and then I'd have to add the 20. That's why there is the gap. So as long as it goes in order of everything, then you can have as many as these or as little of these as you would want. But this is so much better than if you were to have you were to prompt it like at 8 a.m. what's happening, at 9 a.m. what's happening. There's too many flexibilities with different projects, and for you to create a customized experience for clients, no matter what their event is, this is a better way to have it, so you can duplicate the templates and use them in different places, and not have to just customize every single client's information. We are working smarter, not harder, people.
For watching. I hope that was so helpful. If you are super confused inside of your Dubsado, I am here to help. I am a certified Dubsado specialist, a Dubsado pro, whatever you want to call us. I work with creative entrepreneurs to help them inside of their Dubsado. I offer 90-minute strategy calls for super cheap, and I do VIP days for full-blown system updates or just full-blown system builds. If you are new to Dubsado, or if you're thinking about switching from Dubsado to another CRM and you want someone to go in and do all the work for you, that is what I do. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And if you want to schedule a free 30-minute clarity call with me to see if I'm the one to help you with your Dubsado, go ahead and use the link in the description to book that call, and I'll see you next week.